Hi, welcome to Finding the Word. My name is Melanie Brown. Today's word is chair, and Jason and his son wanted to come over for a haircut. He's decided after leaving it long for about 7 years or so that he wanted to cut it down. So I'm like, okay. And so got, his clippers and stuff ready. And we have a little barber station in the house just to make it easier. Was a barber for 20 years. He had started cutting hair really in his teens and had a barbershop for 10 years before we moved to Florida. So when we moved to Florida in 2002, really almost early 2003, he got out of the business then. And when we sold all the items that he'd had, we saved the chair. It was like Jason and Marlon were little still, and everybody had had their first haircut in that chair. We're like, let's keep it. Let's keep it as the chair that all the guys will get their haircuts in. And little do we know we'd go on to have 10 sons that would need to have their haircut in that chair. And same capes and everything. So they came over to get their haircut, and it was really cool to see him cutting his grandson and to see him sitting in the same chair that his father got his first haircut in. For almost 30 years that we have been together, and that chair predates us. So we don't have a lot of things that, you've had that long, but the chair is one of them. And it brings back a lot of memories just in the barbershop. And that's become a family heirloom, that barber chair that'll go to somebody one day. The scripture that I have is 2 Kings, and it is chapter 4, verses 8 through 17. And one day Elisha went to the town of Shunammite. A wealthy woman lived there, and she urged him to come to her home for a meal. After that, whenever he passed that way, he would stop there for something to eat. I'm imagining it was good food, and he would continue to come back. She said to her husband, "I am sure this man who stops in from time to time is a holy man of God. Let's build a small room for him on the roof and furnish it with a bed and a table and a chair and a lamp, and then he will have a place to stay whenever he comes by." So one day Elisha returned to Shunem, and he went up to this upper room to rest. He said to his servant Gehazi, "Tell the woman from Shunem that I want to speak to her." When she appeared, Elisha said to Gehazi, "Tell her that we appreciate the kind concern you've shown us. What can we do for you? Can we put in a good word for you to the king or to the commander of the army?" "No," she replied, "my family takes good care of me." Later, Elisha asked Gehazi, "What can we do for her?" And Gehazi replied, "Well, she doesn't have a son, and her husband is an old man." "Call her back again," Elisha told him. And when the woman returned, Elisha said to her as she stood in the doorway, "Next year at this time, you will be holding a son in your arms." "No, my lord," she cried. "Oh, man of God, don't deceive me and get my hopes up like that." But sure enough, the woman soon became pregnant, and at that time the following year, she had a son, just as Elisha had said. I love that they went out of their way to have a space for him and to accommodate him and to feed him. And it definitely is an encouragement to look for ways to be a blessing to others, to look for ways to serve people. And then I love how he also then wanted to, in return, bless her. And she had a whole son for wanting to cook meals and wanting to give a place to stay for this man of God. Just a reflection, it was such a blessing that God is so good that he would say, you're not going to stay a barber, but the fact that he would be a barber. How convenient that's been, their haircut right there in the home, and to be able to see him cutting his grandson and son. And it was just a blessing to watch. So take care. God bless. And don't forget to find the word. I will see you tomorrow.